Seems like every time I see Melanie Joly somewhere giving a news interview, she has this smirk. She has this smirk on her face that kind of like indicates that she doesn't really give a crap, or she doesn't take what's going on seriously, or she just doesn't care about the questions she's being asked. But let me tell you something, when she's in front of this committee right here taking questions, she'll lose that smirk pretty quickly. The fact that she's calling Michael Barrett Michael during this committee hearing shows that at first she was not even taking this seriously. She ends up looking really, really stupid. And let me tell you something, it's actually hilarious to watch her trying to answer these questions without looking dumb. Let's take a look at this video.
Barrett for 6 minutes, please. New documents reported in Politico today reveal that Tom Clark lied during his appearance before this committee. We know that he personally complained that his taxpayer-funded residence wasn't up to his standards because it didn't have a luxury kitchen or the perfect floor plan. And after Tom Clark complained, Justin Trudeau rewarded his friend and media pal with a new luxury condo at 4 times the cost to taxpayers. So to Canadians who are watching, Justin Trudeau and Tom Clark fleeced the taxpayers, and they tried to cover it up. So, Minister, do you think it's appropriate for Justin Trudeau to have awarded his media pal, Tom Clark, with such a flagrant waste of tax dollars, especially during this cost of living crisis that we're facing?
So, before you interrupt me, because I know, Michael, that's a strategy you use, I really think that there are 3 things. First, I think that, Canadians are getting good value for money because there will be $7 million in Canadian taxpayers' savings. Second, the process was respected at all times. And thirdly, I profoundly believe that more than ever, as we're going through, the American people are going through an important election today, we need to invest in our presence in the US. So I really hope, Michael, that you agree with me, because I know your riding is next to the US and you have 2 bridges that permit fantastic workers going through it, truck drivers exporting and importing millions of dollars every day.
That was sufficient time for you to not answer the question, Minister.
For you to not answer the
Between
question,
Canada
Minister.
and US. So I've answered your question.
Is it common for your department to spend nearly $10 million on luxury condos without you personally approving?
So first and foremost, to answer your question, this was not a political decision because it was an operational decision. And you had numerous people, officials of mine, that came to see you and said that. So these are the facts, and I really hope that you can...
When did you approve the $9 million
this is again
luxury
the strategy that Michael uses, which is to interrupt me.
Clark.
Michael, can you just stop? I'll just finish. So, I promise it won't be long. I just want to finish my sentence.
Point of order, Chair.
Yep. Mr. Barrett?
Okay. So, in spite of the minister's hostile response to my first question, she was afforded equal time to the amount of time that I posed the question, even though she didn't answer it. I asked a second question, and she was afforded equal amount of time to the length of the question, and she was able to do with that what she wished. Now, if the minister wants to interrupt me, that, of course, is not in order at this committee. So, Chair, could you please provide clarification to the minister that she will be afforded the same amount of time to respond as the amount of time that I posed the question?
It has been the practice of this committee that it is the member's time. So if you wish to take 5 minutes for a question and provide 30 seconds for a response, that is your decision, Mr. Barrett, but it is the committee member's time. Go ahead, sir.
To first learn about the $9 million New York City condo on Billionaires Row for Justin Trudeau's media buddy, Tom Clark? What was the date?
So first and foremost, I must say that this was not a political decision, so I learned it through the media. And at the same time, I made sure that all rules was respected, and that's the case in this case.
We didn't get a date from the minister. The story broke on July.
If that's how you get information from, through the media, you're useless.
July the 12th, and I have an email from your former chief of staff dated on June 17th that says, thanks for the briefing note of the issue. The decision to sell and purchase a new residence seems like the logical step to take in this instance. Did you meet with your chief of staff between June 17th and July 12th?
So I must say that, of course, the department informed my chief of staff once the decision was taken because, of course, it was not a political decision.
Chief.
So many times per day, Michael. And you know what?
So
it's good news because there's so many things
this
happening.
Is flagrant malpractice.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking.
Yeah, and your time is up.
I'm
This is
speaking.
flagrant malpractice for you as a minister to just completely ignore.
Kelly, I'm sorry.
Ignore.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna interrupt.
I understand you're in the same party,
I'm gonna
both,
interrupt everyone
but at
here.
the same
I'm going to
time,
interrupt everyone here. I have the floor. Couple things. It is the tradition in this committee. We use our last names out of kind of a sign of respect, but it is the members' time. I would ask the.
He's telling her right now, like, stop calling him Michael. It's Mr. Barrett.
You'll have, I'm sure, an opportunity to perhaps get some of your points across to other questions, but it is the members' time. We ask that you allow Mr. Barrett to speak and provide answers. How much time do you have? You have, we're at 3:44, so you have 2 minutes and 15 seconds, Mr. Barrett.
So, Minister, in the June 17th memo to your chief of staff, it says Tom Clark approved the $9 million condo and it was instrumental in the purchase. With hindsight, do you wish that your chief of staff had got your personal sign off on this if you claim that you did not, in fact, know about it?
so Michael, no, why?
She calls him Michael again.
Because you've already answered, you have already asked me the question and I've already answered. So this was a decision that, according to Treasury Board rules, had to go through the department and therefore no
These are
political
Treasury Board
involvement.
rules that your government changed. Of course, you raised the limit just in time to, of course, buy this luxury condo for Justin Trudeau's buddy Tom
I'm sorry,
Clark.
but that's false.
Now,
That was done in 2019.
Now, right, your cabinet made the change, Minister. So you're the one who made the change just in time to be able to make this purchase so that you could say you didn't hear anything and you didn't say anything.
That's
How
false
many
also.
heads of mission have been, quote, instrumental in purchasing luxury condos?
So this is a decision that is always taken by the department. And so I know that you've been doing character assassination against Tom Clark, and that's really sad because when you don't have your facts straight, usually what you do,
What's really
you resort to
sad,
personal
what's really
attacks.
sad, Minister, is that Canadians are struggling just to get by, lined up at food banks in record numbers, and you seem to have checked out on any accountability that you should be exercising in your role as minister. And we see that instead of helping Canadians, you're helping well-connected liberal insiders. So I think I have just about a minute left. And I have to know, because the claim from your officials was that this was going to be a great deal. Canadians were going to save all kinds of money and that they had sold the previous condo. We heard that this was the case. So if you could tell Canadians now, how much was the check that the Receiver General received for the sale of the former residence that justified the purchase of this $9 million condo? How much did you sell the previous residence for?
So we are convinced that we'll make sure that we have $7 million back for Canadian taxpayers because I think it is a good value for money transaction. It is a transaction that is actually
Minister,
well supported.
is that the check
and I'm
has- you
sorry,
haven't
I'm
received-
still speaking.
You haven't received a check.
So, and you've
I'm
spoken
afraid-
for a long time.
I'm
It's not a
afraid
question,
you haven't
it's actually
received
a
a check.
rant.
I'm
You
afraid
haven't
we are
received
out
a
of
check.
time. Both of
Canadians
you.
are out of
Sorry.
pocket millions.
En accord avec cette approche.
So we agree with that.
Clark is paying $1,800 per month in rent. That's
He's giving his time back to Michael Barrett. He's giving the rest of his time to Michael Barrett here.
less than the national average for Canadians. Do you think that's fair, that that's what he has to pay in rent for a $9 million luxury condo when your government is responsible for doubling rent, doubling mortgage costs, requiring Canadians to have to save 25 years just for a down payment? That's your government's legacy, and you're giving this guy a $9 million condo for $1,800 a month. Do you think it's fair, yes or no?
How much is Pierre Poilievre paying for staying in his government-funded
Minister,
house
I have great
right
news
now?
for you. You're going to have lots
no,
of
but
time to
Michael,
ask us questions
just-
when you're on the opposition side of the House. But today, you're supposed to be a minister that's responsible for your department, and you're demonstrating a failure in that.
You can- Yeah, that is our time. We will.
$1 million.
The average rent in Canada is $2,200, and they're giving this guy a luxury condo for $1,800 a month. This is Stephanie Kuzy, and Stephanie Kuzy is not gonna go lightly on Miss Joly. She's gonna destroy her. Miss Joly will actually look so stupid.
$1 million condo purchase. How is it that you didn't know about this purchase before you yourself admitting to just learning about it from the media?
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm happy to see you. I know that you come from the Diplomatic Network of Canada, being the former consul in Dallas, and I know you trust foreign affairs to deal with important assets in which you had the chance to work in Argentina and Dallas. And you know that the rules are always, under my watch at least, respected, and that was the case. And so we follow Treasury Board rules as you did as when you were former consul in Dallas.
Thank you for that response, Minister, but I still find it very shocking, as I think Canadians do, that you were made aware of this purchase through the media. Minister, how did you not know that the Deputy Chief of Protocol in Global Affairs attended a Russian embassy party? How did you not know that?
So that's a fair point, and I was not happy about my team.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. That you don't know things.
Not informing me. And I think I've said what I needed to say about that. Since then, my question to you is, why would the Conservative not support Ukraine in this decisive moment in the world while Ukrainians are fighting for their freedom, but also ours? And I know as a diplomat, you would
What does that have to do with the question she just asked you? She's doing a counter questioning now?
know what that means.
Well, I appreciate you bringing up Ukraine, because my next question to you, Melanie, was how did you not know that Canada accepted an invitation to send a patrol ship to Cuba while the Russian Navy was present? So I think your point about Ukraine is a very good lead-in to this question. How did you not know that?
So this is a question you should ask to the Defense Department and my dear colleague who's doing a great job, Bill Blair. And he's the minister that will see the doubling and nearly tripling of the defense budget under his watch and under our watch as government,
That's something she still should be aware of.
which the Conservative cut the Defense Department's budget 5 years in a row, and that's unfortunate.
My point, Madam Minister Melanie, is that you have just indicated now 3 things that you did not know. You did not know that we had purchased a $9 million condo at a time when Canadians are suffering as a result of your government. You did not know that the Deputy Chief of Protocol for Global Affairs Canada attended a Russian embassy party. And you did not know that Canada accepted an invitation to send a patrol ship to Cuba while the Russian Navy was present, despite your comments about Ukraine. I'm very concerned about you, Minister Melanie, not knowing what is going on. And why are you so uninformed as to what goes on in your own department? Why do you not know?
Because she's incompetent, people don't respect her. And that's why she does not know anything, because she's incompetent.
So these were not the answers I gave you. So of course, Stephanie, you can't, say and use the pre-written questions you had.
Minister,
But
said that you do not
basically,
know.
What I can tell you, what I know, is the investments in the U.S. is fundamental, which you would agree because you used to work as a diplomat in the U.S. as a trade commissioner, which I really thank you for your service to the country, because I
Thank
think it
you,
was
Minister.
important.
But I maintain the position that you did not know those 3 things. How did you find out about the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Did you know that?
I think that not only did
How
I
did you
know
find
that, but
out
we were
about
ready.
October 7th? How were you made aware of that? Did you know that? It's
Point of
apparent.
order. I think,
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Blaney.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm sure the member just doesn't notice, but she is yelling. And again, I just want to bring up concern for the interpreters.
We've had this issue brought up before. If there are worries about the interpreter, they will contact the clerk to address it, so we don't need to do point of orders on those. Go ahead, Ms. Kusi, the time is yours for 1 minute, 10 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Fortunately, it is apparent that you do know there is an election in the United States today, as you indicated that in your opening statement. But you spoke in your opening statement about how security is at a pivotal moment in the history of Canada, in the history of the world, and yet there is so much that you don't know. I'm here to tell you today, Canadians expect you to know. And if you hope to one day be the leader of the official opposition, Canadians will expect you to know, Madam Minister Melanie.
She lost that smirk pretty quickly when Stephanie Kusi started asking her questions. The way she was responding to Michael, also like Michael Barrett, was so disrespectful. Like she had no respect for him, not even calling him Mr. Barrett one time. How can she be taken seriously at her own job if she can't even look professional when she's doing it? I'm gonna leave it at that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thanks for watching.